Okay, so this center activity for Group D, which involves matching the character traits to the characters and answering some of the three questions, or all of the three questions, I should say, centers around the standard, which says, describe characters in a story and explain how their actions contribute to the sequence of events. So they're able to kind of describe the characters based off the descriptions of the traits like gentle, kind, prankster. So they're able to identify them with their traits. And then for the second part of the standard, I kind of incorporated the questions to meet that aspect of the standards. So explaining how actions contribute to the sequence of events. So, I asked, what would Fern do with Wilbur? What would Avery do with Wilbur? And would Wilbur still be alive if Fern woke up late? So students can see that characters' actions contribute to the events, because especially with that last question when it asked, would Wilbur still be alive if Fern woke up late? Hopefully students are able to recognize, no, Wilbur would not be alive if Fern woke up late, because she wouldn't have time to stop her father. Her father would have already killed the pig. So hopefully they can make that connection and see exactly how much influence characters have on events in a story. So that is how this activity correlated to the standard. Now, I made accommodations in this activity for students that are second language learners. So for example, I used a ton of pictures for examples. So in a perfect world where my printer is working, I would have visuals and images. I kind of explained in the student video that the pictures that are right by the characters are the pictures that we see in the books, or in the book. So for Fern, this would be her picture. I would have had that printed, and for Avery, I would have had this picture of him. And so when we're talking about character traits, I said that the character traits are labeled such as gentle, kind, and there's also pictures of them too. So students can connect maybe prior knowledge to maybe new words or new knowledge that they're learning in this activity. So I really put the images and the visuals in this activity for students that are learning English as a second language. Also, I allowed these students to refer back to their books. I said, if you guys need to kind of refresh your memory and your brain of what we just read, you can totally do so by reading parts of chapter 1 to kind of refresh everything that we just read. Chapter 1 is only 7 pages, so it really wouldn't take too long to kind of go through and try and find information. So I have no question that these students would be able to complete this activity, meet the standard, and kind of like add what they learned to their pre-existing knowledge. So the rubric that I created, let me find it. The rubric that I created, basically the main key points are that students are working together, their work is neat and organized, they're able to correctly match the traits to the correct characters, they're able to answer the questions correctly. So I just clicked on the wrong thing. So that's kind of the 4 main points that I have in my rubric that I really want these students to meet. Okay, so this is group 4. So students can earn up to 20 points for this activity. Like I said, I have 4 different categories. 3. Okay. So the first thing that I have is matching. So you get 5 points if you are able to match all the traits correctly to their characters. Now, if you match less trait, or if you match traits, if students match 5 traits correctly to the character, they get 4 points. If students match 4 traits correctly to the character, they get 3 points. And then it keeps going down. The points get deducted the more mistakes they make for the matching section, which is the first part of the activity. Now, the second category is questions and answers. So students get 5 points if they answer all 3 questions correctly. Now the points just dwindle down the less questions they answer correctly. The third category is teamwork. So if all students participate in this activity, they each get 5 points. Now, if most, some, only 2, or no students participate, the points go down. Now the last one, like I said, is organization and neatness. So if students' work is neat and organized, they earn all 5 points. And then if it's somewhat organized and readable, they get 4, and then it just kind of dwindles down. So I really wanted students to focus on kind of like the 2 main things in this activity, which is matching and answering questions. I also find it really important for students to understand the importance of teamwork, collaboration, turning in organized and neat work. So that kind of just bumps up the expectations for the students. They can have amazing detailed answers, but if their work is not organized and neat, it doesn't really help on their part. And for the future, whether it's careers or jobs or classes, that organization and neatness of work is super important. So I want students to kind of understand that idea and concept at an early age. So that's why I've kind of included that in all of my rubrics. So the last thing that I want to talk about is the outside sources that I used and how they helped. So I actually used the textbook Children's Literature. I have it over there, I can see it. But I used that for helping me kind of find and create activities for this group of students. I've worked with these groups of students before, so I'm familiar with kind of like the support that they need and the support that helps them succeed. So the book really helped me kind of like understand different things to include in activities, and how collaboration, how visuals, how extra time, how teacher support, and all that stuff just really sets these students up for success. So that is the source that I used for this one, and I believe that concludes everything that I needed to mention in this video.